Okay, it's day 3 on our trip across the North Korean border, and we made it through a couple police checkpoints that were empty. Ended up spending the night in this beautiful commie block. There's pretty much no information online or anywhere about whether we can continue at this point and how much further we can go on the border. But when I looked at Apple Maps earlier, which Google Maps doesn't work in China, it was all blocked off. Little red dots, grayed out lines. That's the kind of road that we're going to be on today. We're going to try to follow the North Korean border, maybe get a different view in, but I have a feeling today we're going to get turned around. Not really sure. Interestingly enough, make a quick little stop. There's a pyramid, one of the only oriental pyramids in the world, and it's 3 miles from here. I had no idea, so we'll stop on the way. Other than that, it's time to hit the road.
My mission today is to continue my road trip along the North Korean border with the goal of reaching the point where China meets Russia and North Korea. This region is heavily policed, and there's a large gray area as to whether or not foreigners are allowed to continue on the route that I'll be traveling along.
Back at another section of the North Korean border, just across the river, you have, in this place, a bunch of model communities designed to look prosperous. You can see there, and some of the signs in Chinese will say, don't point at like police, don't point at North Koreans, because they'll take it as like threatening. No organization or individual may remove or dismantle the marks of national boundaries.
Along the border are the remains of an ancient Korean kingdom, an old history that will likely never be visited by those just across that river. I decided to make a slight detour though, traversing across rural China's less than ideal rural roads, since just a bit further is the only pyramid in all of northern Asia, which is oddly enough a Korean one.
He doesn't give a fuck. I, on the other hand, am required to give a fuck. This road is terrible.
After only a few more miles, I arrived at Wondu Mountain City, the location of the supposed pyramid, seemingly though as its only visitor.
So below me are the remains of the Goryeo kingdom, which is the precursor to what is now known as Korea. This was the capital from the year 200 AD onward to around 300 something AD. Let's go to walk up. These are the tombs of various emperors and generals constructed in what's rarely seen as a type of oriental pyramid, with one of the better preserved ones in the world just around the corner. It's interesting enough. It's like $10 to go in, so I figure I might as well. I'm not ever going to be here again. But as you can see, these mounds are all various tombs. Some have been more actively recovered. Others remain just as a dirt mound with stone below. And this is the old city wall. Now, it's not commonly known that Korea was at one point this far north into what is now China. But up until around 400 AD, for when the city was destroyed in a war, this was the extent of the Korean kingdom. The pyramid here is built as a mausoleum for King Jansu, who was the 20th reigning monarch of the previous Korean dynasty. And this was during the golden age of what was the Greater Korean Empire, dipping into northern China's now Manchuria. At one point split between 5 different ethnic groups, including the Wei people and various Chinese rival states. A bit of interesting North Korean history that is inaccessible to just about every single North Korean. Yeah, it's weird that there's not a single Chinese tourist or any kind of tourist here. It's interesting to think that for the North Koreans, this is a major piece of their history that they'll never get to see. Maybe that's why they claim that Jansu was actually born, or buried rather, in Pyongyang. The best part is with historical sites, pretty much anywhere, is that they're all conceptually quite interesting. And then you get there and that's cool. Move on with your life. So I will greet this pyramid, walk around it once, and then never see it again, and move on to more interesting pastures. Meaning getting probably stopped by police today as we inch our way closer to more complicated areas on the North Korean border.
Outside of the Korean-Chinese pyramid was a stone that clearly said no pictures, yet I finally met some Chinese tourists, all of which were taking pictures. Naturally, I obliged, and apparently that obelisk was pretty controversial, with Korean nationalists arguing with the Japanese over the carved text and whether or not Korea defeated Japan on the Korean peninsula, or rather in the country itself. According to the Chinese guide we spoke to, it also notes that the emperor was born able to walk and talk, possibly a trend unique to certain supreme leaders from the region. But that's enough history. There aren't any hotels that will take foreigners on this section of the border, so it's time to get going before the sun goes down.
Yeah, with North Korea, the more densely populated area compared to others that we've driven by. And this is the road that's going to be a problem for us most likely, with a lot of police checkpoints and all the grayed out areas.